of my subscribers, Nias713. You just reminded me of something I meant to talk about for a while. You know, the French gets hit with terrorist acts, and we've seen it throughout the years. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't feel sorry for the French. I believe France, like many of these countries, are moochers. You know, they're so busy telling people like us to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. But when you go and dig and start looking at the actual history on many of these European and Western nations, they haven't even pulled their damn asses up by the bootstraps. They're mooching off of others in order to make it. And the French are really a good example of this. The French, to this day, force 14 African countries that they colonized to pay them a colony tax. They get $500 billion a year from these African countries, plus the resources out of Africa. The French look like a bunch of moochers to me. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know how far along many of these African countries would be if they were not given the French $500 billion a year? They should stop giving this to France and taking that $500 billion and build their nations. The way I see it, France don't deserve a damn thing. All right, so the French have the luxury of getting all this money from African countries, and they had the benefits of enslaving these people in these 14 countries and stealing all of the resources there. And they, like many of these Western nations, have gone in and destroyed and killed and subjugated the population there. And they have a presence in Africa. You know, if you show me one Western nation, just show me one, that are not leaning heavily on Africa. They all are. Even the ones denying it, they are. Trust me, let them come and deny it. I promise you, I'll be able to pull up information on them heavily depending on Africa. It doesn't matter. Oh, well, Norway, no, they're in there heavily depending on Africa too. All of them, including America. That's why you got your troops in there trying to protect your interests, all of the resources that you continue to steal out of Africa. That's why you got troops there. That's why French got troops there. That's why Germany you all got troops there. So you can freely go in there and steal. You don't care about those African people, because if you did, their nations would not be poor. All right, ladies and gentlemen. When France was in there and they had their colony empire, in 1958, they decided to get out of French colonial empires and opted for the country independence. All right, so this is Guinea. The French colonial elite in Paris got so furious. See, they don't want us to be free. This is why every time you talk about your separation and your freedom, they get furious over that because they don't want you free. They don't want you separated. They need to have access to you to continue to mooch off of you. So Paris got furious, and in a historic act of fury, the French administration in Guinea destroyed everything in the country which represented what they called the benefits of French colonialization. 3,000 French left the country, taking all of their property, which is probably all stolen, and destroying everything that which could not be moved. Schools, they destroyed nurseries, public administration buildings were crumbled, cars, books, medicine, research, instruments, tractors were crushed and sabotaged, horses, cows in the farms were killed, and food and warehouses were burnt and poisoned. See, this is what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. But these same people want you to believe they're doing the African people a favor. But see, when you go and research the real history, they've done no one a favor. The only one getting all the favors are them. Like I said, they didn't even pull themselves up by the bootstraps. Okay, so we prefer freedom and poverty and opulence in slavery. So I don't blame Guinea for saying that. They okay, so leave us poor. At least we're free. You know, being poor means you still have a chance of being wealthy. So I'm supposed to accept slavery in order for me to have a little bit of crumbs from you? Well, take your crumbs. Take your crumbs. No, please take your crumbs. Because you know what? Even here in America, when we go back in Black history, we were successful in our towns. That's why white mobs came and burned them down. Because we were making it work. We were earning money. We were building up communities. That's why they were burnt down. See, anytime we show independence separated from them, they get upset and have to come and destroy it. And plus, it debunks all this shit about you being dumb. See, it was very intelligent people that put together Black Wall Street. It was very intelligent people that put together the 200 towns that were torched by jealous white mobs. Sylvanus Olympio, the first president of the Republic of Togo, a tiny country in West Africa, found a middle ground solution with France. He didn't want his country to continue to be a French dominion. Therefore, he refused to sign the colonization continuation pact. De Gaulle proposed, but agreed to pay an annual debt to France for the so-called benefits Togo got from French colonization. If they destroyed everything before they left, you didn't get no benefits. So therefore, you shouldn't have to pay a dime to France. It was the only conditions for the French not to destroy the country before leaving. So the French pretty much threatened to destroy these 14 African nations if they did not agree to paying a colony tax to France. in order for them not to destroy it. So that's how they were able, ladies and gentlemen, to get a colony tax, threatening to destroy 14 African nations. Pay us or we're going to come and destroy you. I wish these 14 nations would come together and just cut the French off. Cut them off. You don't owe the French people nothing. Let them fall. It's a shithole anyway. I've been to France. France is a shithole. Now, that's a shithole country. See, what they want to do on TV, see, they play a lot of trickeries. On TV, they just show you where the Eiffel Tower is. See, that is probably the best part of France. But when you go beyond that to those little side streets, the nation of France is a dump. They got streets that are so tiny, you can't even get a car down the street. And I'm not exaggerating. I've been there before. It's a dump. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a disgrace, but we have seen this all over the entire world. All of this subjugation and discrimination, oppressing nations of people. And this is also proof they can't stay in power without us. They can't. They didn't rise to power without leaning on the dark people here on this earth. They didn't earn anything without leaning on the dark people on this earth. So it's laughable when they got the audacity to look at someone and say, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. And then there's nowhere in history where they pulled themselves up by the bootstraps. It's nowhere in the history. So here you got, I just can't believe what I'm reading here. But here are the 14 countries that were once French colonies that pay $500 billion to France every single year. Togo, Tunisia, Côte d'Ivoire, Madagascar, Rwanda, Algeria, Congo, Mali, Guinea, Burundi, Chad, Central Africa, Niger. Oh my God. This is just, oh my God, this is a disgrace. All of these countries are paying the French a colony tax. Woo, man. This is very important. I'm writing this article. 14 African countries are obligated by France, though a colony pact put 85% of their foreign reserve into French central banks under the French Minister of Finance control. Until now, 2014, Togo and about 13 other African countries still have to pay colonial debt to France. I wouldn't give French shit. I wouldn't give them nothing. African leaders who refuse are killed or victims of coups. Those who obey are supported and rewarded by France with lavish lifestyles, while their people endure extreme poverty. So those few leaders that go along with it, they give them money. It's such an evil system, even denounced by the European Union. But France is not ready to move from the colonial system, which puts $5 billion from Africa to its treasury year in, year out, because they can't live without the African nations. That's why they're not ready to move from it, because they can't live without it. That's what you have to see in Africa. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell. Peace, family.